Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Last Temptation of Christ, and this movie is directed by Martin Scorsese and stars Willem Dafoe, and I really loved this movie. I thought it was really great. It was powerful and emotional and really engaging, and I really liked the story, and I enjoyed where it went, and there were many directions that it took that surprised me, and I just thought this was a really engaging movie. Willem Dafoe was amazing in this movie. I can't see anyone else playing, doing what he was able to pull off, and everything in this movie felt real. Well, for the most part, aside from like one tiny little effect, but most of the movie was great in its presentation, and whenever there are effects in the movie, they're handled pretty well, especially for the time, and without spoiling anything, the presentation of the story is like a lot of Martin Scorsese movies that I've seen, such as Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, where you take one character and you show their like life as they build up like this group of people together. They get a following, and they just grow and grow and grow, and eventually everything just falls apart for them. That's kind of the structure of this movie while I was watching it, and it did feel much like a Martin Scorsese movie, and not just from the way the story was told, but also the way it was shot, and from its presentation you can definitely tell this is from Martin Scorsese because he has a very distinct style. And I can notice any movie that's directed by him, like just the way it's shot, I can just tell if it's a movie from him. There are a lot of characters in this movie, but you never lose track of who is who, and the movie, it takes its time, and it's kind of a slow burn. I mean, it's not like super slow, but it's not a fast-paced movie either. It takes its time, and it develops everything properly, and by the end of it, you do feel as though you've experienced an entire journey with all of the characters, and it was really easy to get invested in what was happening because you understand the characters and who they are. And our main character isn't just treated like, oh, he's just destined to be the one because it's a prophecy or anything. The movie starts out with with him being like really terrified of like everything around him, and whenever he looks at anything on Earth, he just feels pity, and like he's like terrified of being who he is. And as the movie goes along, he starts to learn to accept who he is, and that was really what kept me engaged in the movie, that the character wasn't just destined to be anything, or the story wasn't already told before the story actually began. It's like you feel as though you watched something and it meant something to the characters. And sorry for what I'm saying, it sounds a little bit confusing. I'm just trying not to spoil anything, but this is kind of the best way I can describe it, is that it didn't feel forced, it felt natural, and that's what I like about it. The music was well used, and it never took away from any scene in this movie, and it was great. And there are so many scenes that could be come across as really cheesy, but it all feels natural, like I've said earlier, and the music is never overbearing, and it communicates what it's trying to, but it never forces itself into anything, like my experience or the story, and something like that, if that makes sense. And the only complaints I have with it are just two tiny little things. Just one effect that I don't want to talk about because I don't want to spoil anything, and the other thing is, I can say this without spoiling anything. There's a character who's pregnant, and they're like 8 months pregnant or something, and the way they moved around, it was just like they weren't pregnant at all, and I found that to be a little bit distracting. But that was only like 3 seconds in a 2.5 hour movie, so I'm not going to take off points for it because it's just a little tiny thing. And that's about all I have to say about The Last Temptation of Christ. I thought it was excellent. I think it's one of Martin Scorsese's best movies, and I'll definitely rewatch this movie. And for some reason, I just get the feeling that a lot of people would find this movie difficult to rewatch. Like, I don't know. I like rewatching movies that get emotions out of me, and like, I'll just give you an example. Like, a movie that a lot of people find hard to rewatch is Schindler's List. They say, like, that's a one-time, you would only watch that once and never come back to it again. But personally, I would happily revisit Schindler's List. I could watch that right now because I love the movie. Like, any movie that I love, I would rewatch. Like, any day, any time. Don't ask why, but that's just how I am. And another thing that I forgot to mention was that you don't have to be a religious person to enjoy the movie, because there's plenty of things to enjoy even if you don't believe in God, or like you can watch this movie and enjoy it for what it's doing, because the story is very engaging and the characters are developed, and anything that would require a movie to be good or great is just in this movie. And that's why, like, anyone can watch it. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Last Temptation of Christ a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Last Temptation of Christ, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Iron Lady. I have no idea what this is. It was just a movie that was sitting around collecting dust, so I decided, why not? I'll just watch it. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.